The reason I got interested in education is the small village I was born, the school was just like a one-room schoolhouse where there were just only one teacher for the entire school. So she rotated between different grades. Obviously that was not what you considered as kind of high quality, access to high quality education. So, but interestingly, for me, the bigger part of the motivation was not that I did not have access to kind of a lot of resources in my early years. It's actually the real innovation was that even on like in this rural village in the mountains of Turkey, there were all those kids who would have to walk 4 or 5 miles to the school, and usually in the snow, and they still wouldn't miss a single day of school. I was pretty much consistently building products throughout the 4 years in college. Sometimes I would bring friends over as well. So one of the products we wanted to build was an online education tool so that somebody can do a live classroom. People who are not in the same kind of location could actually teach each other. So initially we built this actually for our college. Essentially Turkey was wrong time, wrong place. And I also realized live education was not the right product to build a marketplace. It's already hard to bring the supply and demand, in this case, an instructor who knows the subject, people who want to learn the subject. It's still already hard to bring them to the website together. Actually, one more thing happened. Also, our entire company had to go for the mandatory military service. There was a kind of change in the laws, and pretty much in like 2 weeks, I was alone in the office. So I packed my bag and I went to Silicon Valley to work full time at Speed Date, and I kind of put a pause on the Udemy idea. What changed in the last 10 years is a lot of this knowledge is now a little bit more broadly accessible in the world. So because most people write books about this and do a lot of podcasts and do things like Glocal. So the knowledge has been shared, so at least you don't have to be here to just learn about this, right? Anymore. But 2010, you'd have to grab coffee with a lot of people to understand how a lot of these things work. Knowledge has been the know-how of entrepreneurship has been democratized a little bit. Getting the first check is 75% of the difficulty. First check, the half of it is the other 20%. And then the second half is only 5% of the challenge. How much progress we were making day by day, that's what they invested in, not really the idea. But after 2-3 years, the growth was so strong, so kind of undeniably impressive. They just they didn't have to believe in the idea anymore. They just the growth was enough for them to raise money. So after the first year and a half or so, the future rounds were very simple. We just show our revenue growth chart, and they would write checks. You have to manage your board. You have to manage your investors, right? They're not ATMs, right? So there are ATMs who can fire you. If you can leverage them, they're actually extremely helpful as well, right? So back in the day, I had this huge arrogance, where I just didn't really care about what investors saying. I just was really focused on what I thought was the right strategy. So I didn't include any of the investors in the decision making or any of the even governance. Company was very successful. So still, if you don't govern your investors and have a strong communication line with them, right? So eventually thinking they kind of don't have as much confidence. Started think about other ideas. It was really hard to put the genie back in the box. So I just got interested in healthcare in a very significant way. So that made me start the second chapter of my entrepreneurship career.